Hey guys, Muck here. Well, today is a beautiful October day. I've been wanting to do this test for a month and a half ever since archery started, but here I am out at our outdoor range here in Regina. Beautiful day, very little wind, so this is why I picked this day. I'm going to be doing my flight testing of 8 broadheads, 4 expandables and 4 fixed. This isn't a test to determine how deep these broadheads penetrate or how big of a wound channel they make. These are all major manufacturers and they've been tried and trusted, or true and trusted about killing. So they kill. That's not what this is about. What this test is about, if you remember why I posted this on Facebook, was this test is about flying true, flying like a field point. Every manufacturer these days advertise that their broadhead, doesn't matter if it's fixed or expandable, fly like a broadhead or like a field point. And I disagree with that. The experience I've had is I get my bow all tuned in, sighted in with the field point so it's dead on, put my field point or field broadhead on, and I have to retune it again. And that's frustrating because every manufacturer brags that it flies like a field point. Well, it's not really flying like a field point if you have to re-sight your bow in after you already have it sighted in. That's not flying like a field point. So what I have today is I have a list here, and I've done some legwork before I'm doing this video by weighing and stuff like that. So I've got fixed. I have the Montec G5, tried and trusted, killed thousands of animals throughout the world. Great broadhead. I've taken several bears with it. It comes in at 102 grains. Then we have the Tooth of the Arrow broadhead. I've killed a bear with one of those, and it comes in at 101.2 grains. Then we have the Magnus Black Hornet at 98.4 grains. You can see it's got little blood. They call those blood something or other. But anyways, it's a two blade as opposed to the other ones that have 4 and 3. And then we have the Blackout Toxik. I went with the Blackout Toxik. It's the only broadhead that I actually bought for this test, is because it is your sort of entry level, go to Cabela's, buy a broadhead, get hunting kind of a thing. It comes in at 101.2 grain. On the expandable side, I have the Rage Slip Cam. Now these are a few years old because I haven't used these broadheads for a while, but I figured I'd use them for the test. This is a 3-blade slip cam. It comes in at 100.6 grains. We have the Rage Hypodermic, which is very popular. Now there again, this is an older model of the hypodermic, and they have this collar system, so I'm hoping they hold out for this test. I have some extra collars for it. Hypodermic comes in at 102.0. Then we have the brand new G5 Mega Meat. It comes in at 100.4, and this is what I'm currently using right now. And a buddy of mine sent me the Thorn 2-blade. Now, this one comes in at 105.4 grains. So it is a little bit heavier than, most manufacturers advertise at 100 grain or 125. So it'd be interesting to see how at 40 yards this broadhead flies. Like, now you can tell it does look like a field point, and the blades are tucked up in there. So I have high hopes for this one because it to me will probably fly like a field point. Those are the 8 broadheads. I'm going to be using my standard release, trigger release for hunting. I've got a block target with a dot in the center. And how this is going to work is I guess I should talk about the arrow first. So I've got a standard hunting arrow weighed in before the points on at 304.4 grains, a 340 spine with just your standard blazer vein on it with a Easton G nock, no lighted nock on this test. I'm going to be shooting my Prime Black 3 at 72 pounds at 26.5-inch draw length. And I sifted through all my field points, and I found one that's exactly 100.0 grains field point. So a grand total of 404.4 grain arrow. Before I came to the range, I shot it to the chrono at our other range, and it chronoed at 285 feet per second. So right in that perfect optimum hunting speed that you want. So that's what my tests are going to be. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run this target down at 40 yards. I've already sighted my my bow in, so I spent a few minutes and made sure it was good. I'm going to shoot one arrow 3 times for every one of these broadheads. I'm going to use the same arrow so there's no inconsistencies. So it will take some time. I'll have to shoot one arrow, go down, retrieve it, and like that. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to shoot the field point at this dot, and then I'm going to use, I have it right here in my pocket here. I have a tape. I will measure from the very center of that spot, even for the field points, record it, and at the end of this test, I'm going to calculate everything and average them all out. I'm going to try to shoot every broadhead 3 times and see from dead center which is the closest, which flies like a field point. Stay tuned. We're going to do the field point first. Okay, first arrow of the control group. So I'm going to shoot 3 field points. Target's down there at 40 yards. And I'm going to measure and I'll record the 3, and then I'll start the test with the broadheads. Okay guys, first up, G5 Montec. Tried and trusted, true and trusted. 40 yards, first up. Flew very nice, let's go have a look. Okay, shoot 3 more. Okay guys, G5 Montec's done. Now it's time for the Rage slip cam. All right, let's see how it is. All right, this is a Rage slip cam. Okay guys, Rage slip cam was done. Now up is tooth of the arrow. I've actually taken my very first bear with the tooth of the arrow, so I like them. They're 4-blade broadhead. Tooth of the arrow. It flew nice too. Okay, tooth of the arrow just finished. Performed really well. Something interesting about the one before that, the Rage slip cam. I'll bring that up at the end, but I'm not a big fan of the collars. Anyways, tooth of the arrow is done. One thing I forgot to mention was the G5 Montec's a 3-blade. The Rage slip cam was a 3-blade. The tooth of the arrow is a 4-blade, and this hypodermic, Rage hypodermic, which is just like the slip cam, is tried and true. I just don't not a big fan of these collars that go on there that hold these in there. Maybe they've improved that over the years. Like I said, these are older ones. So Rage hypodermic, classic broadhead. I could tell that was right on the mark, so that one should be close. Let's go measure it up. Okay guys, next up, the Magnus Black Hornet. It's a 2-blade with these 2 smaller bleeders. Before I wasn't sure what they are, but they're called bleeders. Give it a try. It's a 2-blade. Let's go measure it up. Magnus Black Hornet. Okay, next up, G5 Mega Meat. This is new for me this year. Haven't killed anything with it yet, but it's new for me. One thing I will say about the Magnus Black Hornet that I just shot, it's a serrated main blade and has those 2 little bleeders. If this was a penetrating test, that would be leading because it went all the way through and just barely was hanging on the back of my block target. So that's interesting, but this isn't a penetrating test. Okay, Montec Mega Meat. Lots of good reviews on this one on the internet. See how it flies. Looked like it flew very well. Well, let's go measure it. Okay, as you can see, it knocked the center off, but I do know where it is, so it was right there. Okay, super interesting. Just like the one of the other expandables, through the foam, only 2 of the blades deployed. So the third one's got some foam in it, but it didn't deploy. So is that a problem with expandables? Because in my opinion, all these should have expanded. So that could be a problematic. Okay, last 2 to go. Right here we have Cabela's, or the Blackout. I can't remember the name of it. Blackout. I'll have to get the name on the next one. But anyways, it's a 3-blade, just your basic 3-blade replaceable. It's bugging me, I can't remember that, but it's Blackout anyways, by Cabela's. Check out the Blackout, measure it up. Okay, so I'm only shooting this one again because I felt bad that I didn't know the Blackout. It's a Blackout Toxik. And one thing that's super interesting about the Blackhawk and the Cabela's brand, Blackout, sorry, and the Cabela's brands is typically what they do is they go to a manufacturer, major manufacturer, and they have them make a product specific for Cabela's Bass Pro, and that's where you get these, you know, the Cabela's brands or the Blackout, which is Bass Pro. So it's not like you're getting a low quality product by no means. Actually, sometimes you get a really good product for a reasonable price. So this is the Blackout Toxik, and I'm going to shoot it again only because I felt bad that I couldn't remember its name. It scored very well. All right, let's measure it up. That's the number 2. Okay, I was impressed with that Blackout. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But last test of the day is the Thorn 2-blade. Like I was saying earlier, this is probably the one that is the closest to a field point. No, there's no blades exposed, so I'm truly believing it's going to fly like a field point. So, although it's 6 grains heavier, so it could be a little bit low, but maybe not. Look, Thorn 2-blade. It flew nice and fast. Well, I don't know how we're going to do this one. Okay, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what happened here, but they didn't deploy at all, and it zipped through here and went into the target behind me. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong and why they did not deploy. I have no place to measure this. And ironically, I moved that into a fresh spot. So I'm going to move it up just a tad higher. I'll try it one more time, see if it deploys. But I'm going to leave this run because that was super interesting, and I might need a couple of, I might need the GoPro to see where it went. So yeah, we'll try it again. Hopefully it deploys. Okay, so that's something interesting happened with the Thorn 2-blade. It didn't deploy, and it went through my target and into the butt behind it. But the blades didn't open up. So I have no idea of where it hit on the target without checking the GoPro. I'm going to deploy it again and see if the blades open up. Now, my buddy Brock sent this to me, and maybe I'm doing something wrong. I've never shot this broadhead before, and Brock, if you're watching this after I post it, let me know if I'm doing something wrong, because you know, it should have deployed open, but it didn't. So, and it zipped right through. So I'm going to shoot it again. Hopefully it deploys this time. It looked like a good shot, but so hopefully it deployed. Okay, so just like I actually thought before I was doing the video, because this one resembles a field tip the most, it's pretty much bang on. 1 inch away, which I know other broadheads have been like that, but okay, so it didn't deploy. Okay, it didn't deploy, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. The blades are in here. I know they are. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to have to Google it. So. Okay, guys, all done shooting. It took a couple hours, but we got it wrapped up. As you'll see in the video, I methodically went through every broadhead. I got some interesting results for you guys, and you can take away what you want from this video. Like I said in the beginning, this video is all about accuracy and how much from center do the broadheads stray when you have a tuned-in bow and you just screw in a broadhead. So I got some interesting results. So I'm going to start with the field point. So here's my arrow, 100 grain right on the nose. My field point, I shot it 3 times, and the average from that is 1.45 from the center. So I was pretty darn good at 40 yards on that dot. So the field point was 1.45. I just got to write that a little brighter. First up was the G5 Montec. I keep calling it a classic because it truly is. Like, just about everybody's used a Montec at one point. I've killed like 3 bears with them. They're a 3-blade fixed. They have sort of a vented. They're not solid. They're vented. G5 Montec, the average from the center was 2.78 at 40 yards, 2.78 inches. Next up, we have the Rage slip cam. This is an older Rage. The blades are loose now because I ran out of rubber rings, the retaining rings. It's a 3-blade expandable. Average for the Rage slip cam was 3.1 inches from center. Next up, the tooth of the arrow. It is a 4-blade fixed. Once again, it has little vented. It's not solid, it's vented. I was really impressed with the tooth of the arrow. It averaged 2.2 inches at 40 yards. So it did very well for a fixed broadhead. As you can tell, it only has like a 1-inch cutting diameter, and I think they do make other slightly bigger ones. This one was a few years old now, but that's a 1-inch cutting diameter. So it did very well. That's a 4-blade fixed. Next up is the Rage hypodermic. And once, just like the G5, hundreds, if not thousands of people have shot the hypodermic. It did very well. It was 2.28 inches from center, so it did very well. I'll talk about the slip cam Rage and the Rage hypodermic in a minute here. Okay, next up we have the Magnus Black Hornet. I've never shot this one before. This was sent to me by my buddy Chris, and thank you for that. You can have it back. It's got a serrated main 2-blade broadhead, and it's got these 2 little bleeders. It did very well. The Magnus Black Hornet was 2.15 inches from center. So for a fixed broadhead, especially a 2-blade, it flew amazing. I know this isn't a penetrating test, but if this was a penetrating test, without a doubt, that would win. It pretty much went through my block target every time I shot it. Next up is the Montec G5 Mega Meat. This is new for me. I bought a package of these. They have this new locking system for their blades. It's a 3-blade expandable. It was really accurate. I was really impressed with this one. 1.20 inches from center. So almost on that green dot every time, this green dot right here, at 40 yards. So really, really accurate. Once again, I'm going to talk about that broadhead in a minute. Next up was bought from Cabela's, the Cabela's Bass Pro Blackout series. It's the Blackout Toxik. I was really impressed with this broadhead. Now, take away the fact that it cut me before I even got it on there. I'm really impressed with it. I could see myself actually shooting this little devil. It's a 3-blade vented, 1.38 inches from center. Amazing for your just standard $30-some for a pack of 3 broadheads. So don't be scared to get that one. And then finally, my buddy Brock sent me this one, and kind of a failed test with this one, and it could be user error. Brock, when you see this, or I might message you, tell me what I did wrong. I've never shot this broadhead before, and I really didn't do a lot of investigating about it. It never deployed once, but it was the closest to center every time. And I think I might even said this in my little preamble video I did on Facebook, was I expected this one to fly as close to a broadhead or a field point as all of them, because the blades are tucked up inside, and it did. It performed the best. It was 1.16 inches at 40 yards from that green dot, from the center of the green dot. Not just the edge of it, but the center of it. So it performed exactly like a field point. Now, problem is, it didn't deploy once. Now, that could be my user error, and if it is, I will take full responsibility with this. But I would not shoot this at an animal until I did more checking. However, I am very comfortable shooting that if I figure out why it didn't deploy, if it was my problem, or if it just didn't work. because, man, was this thing accurate and fast. On one of the tests, I had to shoot this one 4 times because it actually zipped right through and went into the butt behind it. So this one is definitely the most accurate at 1.16. Brock, please, when you see this, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if it has something to do with this little yellow collar on there. I'm not an idiot. However, I'm kind of like the type of guy that just screws a broadhead on there and wants it to work. So if I didn't prepare it properly, that's on me, and it's not a slag on the manufacturer whatsoever. However, if I didn't do anything wrong, then we're problematic. So that is the Thorn 2-blade. Really impressive with the accuracy. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been taking me almost 3 hours to do this test. I want to give my opinion on these broadheads and what I could see myself shooting in the future. I just wanted to talk about 2 of the 4 expandables. The Rage slip cam and the G5 Mega Meat. When I shot them through my block target, on the very first shot of this slip cam, only one blade, or I think maybe 2 blades deployed, and one stayed tucked up. That's a problem. On the G5, I believe 2 of the 3 didn't deploy, and only one deployed open. Now, is it because it's a block target and it's foam? I don't know, but that scares me. And it should scare you if you're using these, because I know that these things are killers. I've seen videos, I've watched videos of these broadheads and how devastating they are, and they are very accurate. But that concerns me that they didn't deploy. And that's what the problem is when you hear the argument between fixed and expandable, is expandables sometimes don't deploy. Now, you can't blame it on my bow, because I'm shooting a bow that's 72 pounds. It's got lots of kinetic energy and lots of speed. So is it because I shot it into a block target? I don't know. But that kind of concerns me about an animal. That being said, all the expandables, with the exception of the Rage slip cam, which was 3.4, which was not very accurate, but the Rage hypodermic, the G5 Mega Meat, and the Thorn 2-blade performed exactly like you would want. You screw on your broadhead and you shoot it, and it's almost like a field point. Remember, my field point control was 1.45 from the center. The average, so the Thorn 2-blade, which was the closest, was 1.16, so it's actually closer to the center than my control. The G5 Mega Meat also was 1.2, and the Rage hypodermic was a 2.28. So they perform just like I'd expect for an expandable as far as flying like a field point. Now, wrap it up with the fixed. Really impressed with the Tooth of the Arrow and the Blackout Toxik. Blackout Toxik knocked it out of the park, like I said earlier, with 1.38. There again, better than my control with the field point. And the Tooth of the Arrow was 2.2. I have no issue whatsoever shooting those 2 broadheads. I guess the Magnus Black Hornet 2.15. All those broadheads did really well. The Montec was the farthest at 2.78, and that's probably my experience with the broadhead with the G5 Montec. Is the farther I go out, the less accurate I am. So hope you guys can take something from this test. Looks like I've got some good choices to pick from. There are tons, if not hundreds, of different models out there, and of course I could not afford to try them all. This is just a small sample of what I had and what some people sent me. But if this helps make your decision, remember, the only reason I did this was to have confidence about screwing on a broadhead and shooting it like a field point. Now, here's the only thing I'll say about all of the broadheads, with the exception of some of the expandables. All of the, and you'll see if you look back in the video, that most of the broadheads hit low and a little bit to the right. Now, not very far, obviously, a couple of inches, but I was really pounding out the low right of the dot. I had the dot here originally, and you could see that it was really pounding that out. So that's at, that's at 40 yards. So at 50, at 60, it could drop quite a bit. So as far as a field point, they did drop out of the way. Not horrendous. Definitely would kill your animal, but be advised or be aware that they did shoot consistently low, because when I sighted in, I was right on that dot or just shut slightly off it. I definitely wasn't low. And all my broadheads, with the exception of a couple of the expandables, did go and a little bit to the right. So that's the only thing I can say. I'm not going to say you should buy this one over that one. If you have any concerns about what I did, or if you think I'm full of crap, or if I did something wrong in your opinion, get a hold of me directly. There's no use arguing on social media about this. And Brock, I apologize if I'm doing something wrong about your broadhead. I loved it. It shot so accurate. I would actually, I'd love to talk to you more about what happened with that broadhead, because it was so deadly accurate. That's the Thorn 2 blade. Anyways, I hope this helped you guys. I enjoyed doing it. It's a lot of fun. I actually learned a lot, that they fly a lot better than, I have a lot more faith in these broadheads than I did actually before I started here, especially the fixed broadheads. I was pretty impressed with them. So good luck everybody hunting, and yeah, talk to you soon. Hey guys, so I'm back at home, and I am just editing this video, and I did a quick Google check of the Thorn 2 blade, and the little retaining clip that was on or close to the end of the broadhead was there for a reason. So what Thorn does is you put this retaining clip on, and it prevents the blades from deploying, so that they can be used for practice points. So at the end of it, I really didn't know how it worked, but it all worked out that it wasn't supposed to deploy. And also too, I referenced that it was about 6 grains heavier. Well, that would be the retaining clip. So the broadhead itself would be closer to 100 grains. So in the end, it all worked out. That clip was supposed to be there, so I can use it as a practice point. When I'm hunting, I pull that clip out, and then it pushes and deploys the blade. So all good. Just wanted to clear that up. So thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.